US Army's new Supergun could hit targets in China with a 1.000 miles range. This could be a really big deal. The Army is working on a supergun with a 1,000-mile range that could potentially hit targets in the South China Sea from a gun pit on land, Army Secretary Mark Esper told reporters on Wednesday. You can imagine a scenario where the Navy feels that it cannot get into the South China Sea because of Chinese naval vessels or whatever, Esper said during a media roundtable. We can from a fixed location, on an island or some other place engage enemy targets, naval targets, at great distances, and maintain our standoff, and yet open the door, if you will, for naval assets or marine assets. The experiments with extended-range artillery are part of the Army's look at hypersonic technology, which the US military initially decided not to weaponize years ago. When Task and Purpose asked Esper why the Army needs artillery that can lob a shell up to 1,000 miles, Esper explained the US military needs to outrange enemy guns. You want to be outside the range that they can hit you, Esper said. Why was the spear developed? Because the other guy had a sword. A spear gives you range. Why was the sling developed? Because the spear closed off the range of the sword. You want to always have standoff where you can strike without being struck back. That's what extended range cannon artillery gives us, case in point vis-a-vis the Russians. The US Army's mysterious new super-extended long-range gun could sit on an island in the South China Sea and hit Chinese targets hundreds of miles away, smashing artificial islands made from dredged sediment that act as Beijing's military outposts. That's according to Secretary of the Army Mark Esper, who says the fantastical weapon would open the door for the other services, blasting enemy defenses before they have a chance to open fire on US Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps forces converging on the region. Esper, quoted in Task and Purpose last week, said that the supergun could sit in a gun pit on the edge of the South China Sea and blast targets as far as 1,150 miles away. According to the secretary, the gun could destroy Chinese warships and military targets on islands across the South China Sea, destroying air defense sites, radar installations, anti-ship missiles and even air bases. The destruction of these facilities in wartime would allow US air, naval, and ground forces to enter the area and wrestle it away from China. One possible location for the gun? The Philippine archipelago on the eastern edge of the South China Sea, particularly the islands of Palawan and Luzon. In 2016, the US military deployed HIMARS truck-mounted rocket launchers to the Philippines for joint exercises with the Philippine Armed Forces. A supergun sighted on the island could hit Chinese military installations in both the Spratly and Paracel island chains, including air bases on Subi Reef and Fiery Cross Reef. From Palawan, the big gun could also strike all of Hainan Island, where China's nuclear ballistic missile submarines are based, and even a small portion of the mainland. We still know very little about the Army's new cannon, other than that it is portable and is anticipated to have a range of 1,000 nautical miles, or 1,150 miles. We don't know how it propels projectiles, how often it can fire, and how large the projectiles are. We know it is portable, but that is a very relative term. One more hint from Esper's comments. Whatever the gun is, it can hit moving targets. As the secretary says, it can hit ships of the Chinese fleet. Here's hoping the Army tells us more soon.
If unable to elevate the press houser or unable to adjust, notify you in the
There you go. Drop. Drop. Hey, slow down. Tell G a few times, have me verified. Load it. Let me see it. Hard. 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 Roger, 471. Two right. Ready to drop? Ready to drop? In the back, smoke. Where?
They're still wrapped up in the silver case.
Hey, they're still in the silver.
Tighten these. We start tightening everything else.
Come on, Doc. Hey, Chief.
Quadrant, Vanilla.
Quadrant 489.
Drop. Ready, drop.
Like it.